For the last 5 years, trying to buy a home in Toronto and the Greater Toronto Area has felt like a battle. But the Toronto Real Estate Board numbers, they don't lie, and the battle is now over. With prices dropping and market conditions shifting, the tables have completely turned. Some sellers are getting nervous, especially the ones that need to get out. And for the first time in a very long time, buyers are the ones calling the shots. And in this video, I'm breaking down the latest official data from the Toronto Real Estate Board, and it covers the entire Greater Toronto Area to show you exactly why buyers have all the power and how much power you actually hold, and more importantly, how can you use it. And bonus, I'll actually show you top 5 neighborhoods right now in the Greater Toronto Area where buyers are getting some serious deals. So stay with me. I'm Linda, one of the Ragona sisters, and I'm breaking down what happened or what didn't happen last month, because these updates are so important because we are in a very fragile market with all this political and economic drama. In this episode, I'll show you how dramatically this market has shifted, and you only need to look at a few key numbers from the official October 2025 report to really see what's happening. First, the big one. The price. Across the Greater Toronto Area, the average selling price fell to $1,054,372. That's a 7.2% drop from this time last year. That's over $80,000 shaved off the average home price. Seller's grip? Yeah, it's slipping big time. For years, all we ever heard of is prices are going up, up, and up. A year-over-year decline of this size is a massive signal. Second, let's talk about choice. You still have it, and you actually have more of it. New listings, brand new properties hitting the market amounted to over 16,000 units. That's up by 2.7% from last year. More choices for you means more negotiating. You're no longer fighting over the same property in your favorite neighborhood. Options means more power, my friends. Third, and this is where it gets really interesting, is in the sales volume. While all the inventory was hitting the market, the number of actual sales dropped by 9.5% compared to last year, with just over 6,100 homes sold. So you have more homes for sale, but fewer people are actually buying them. This is the ultimate sign of a buyer's market. Supply is clearly outpacing demand, and that old pressure of buy now or get priced out forever has totally evaporated, and that's a thing of the past. And now it's replaced by a much calmer, more rational environment. I actually had a buyer, I showed him 8 properties in one day. They're all competitors, and they're all in the same town. And after the showings, you often get calls from the listing agents. And 2 out of the 8 sellers, I was told they're very motivated, so that's your cue of desperation, and are willing to negotiate further, significantly lower than the list price. 1 out of the 8, which happened to be one of my clients' favorite house, but they didn't know that. The seller was adamant about zero negotiating, and the seller wanted full asking price. But the problem lies, there are new listings popping up in that area daily, and those competitors come out with more competitive price points. And in this lies a seller's issue. Sellers, take note. This market is relative. You selling it, you buying it, and your competition, they're not waiting. They're going to be more competitive. Now, my client is looking at other options that have a much sweeter list price. Now, let's talk about how we got here. Because prices are down and sales are down. It's a perfect storm of factors that have come together to create these ideal conditions for a buyer. It all comes down to a simple imbalance. It's very simple. Inventory is piling up because new listings are still coming online, but buyer demand has become much more cautious, and I get that. As the Toronto Real Estate Board president noted, many potential homebuyers are remaining on the sidelines due to uncertainty about the economy and their future employment. That hesitation means fewer buyers are jumping into bidding wars or just buying a house altogether. which lets the supply of homes grow and forces sellers to work a lot harder to get your attention. And cheerleaders in front of your house, will no longer get you traction on your listing, but you can probably gain a few stalkers out of that. And then there's affordability. The monthly mortgage payments for an average priced home is trending lower thanks to the lower prices and lower interest rates. That means more buyers can actually afford a home that fits their needs. But that economic caution is keeping them from rushing in all at once, and there are still people that cannot afford a home right now. And some sellers are giving away their bargaining chips in a way that some would say they're dropping their pants on their price. The data it's clear. You're in the driver's seat for a buyer. But to be real, not all sellers are in that same boat. Some sellers think that they have gold behind their walls. Anyway, how can buyers actually use this power? This is where we go from knowing to doing. Here are the real-world strategies to take advantage of the best buying conditions in the Greater Toronto Area that we haven't seen in years. First, this one's pretty simple. Negotiate. For years, the asking price was just a fantasy, a starting line for a bidding war that would launch the final price into stratosphere. That era is over. Thank goodness and good riddance. The latest report confirms that the majority of the homes were selling under asking. So don't be shy about submitting an offer under the list price, especially if the home has been sitting. With sales down nearly 10%, sellers know that every day a property sits, their motivation to make a deal goes up. Your first offer isn't your last, it's the start of a conversation. But side note, don't go astronomically lower. Then you turn off the negotiating tap. And remember, feelings in negotiating can make things go from let's negotiate to get the hell out of my house and don't come back. I've experienced a few of those in my days where the buyer was, let's just say, ambitious with their demands, and then you get chased out with a shovel. Yeah, that's happened. Anyways, second, bring back the conditions. Remember home inspections, financing conditions? Yeah, they're back in style. In a seller's market, you had to throw caution in the wind and submit firm offers taking on all that risk. In today's market, you have the leverage to protect yourself. A financing condition gives you time to make sure your mortgage is solid, and an inspection condition lets you uncover any scary surprises before you're locked in. These aren't wild demands, they are standard procedures in a healthy market. If a seller says no to your reasonable conditions, some do, which makes you wonder. And now you have the power to walk away knowing that there's plenty of other options around the corner. Third, you have the luxury of choice and time. The pressure to see a house on Tuesday and make a life-altering decision by Wednesday, those days are done. With over 16,000 new listings hitting the market in a single month, you can afford to be patient. Go see multiple properties, compare them, sleep on your decision, and I always like that tip. I can't tell you how many buyers had remorse after sleeping on it for the day. Now, let's be clear about something. This does not mean every single home in the Greater Toronto Area is on a clearance rack. Absolutely not. I always like to highlight that point. A perfect, well-priced house in a top-tier neighborhood is still going to be competitive. You're probably not getting a detached home like High Park or Leslieville for a massive discount. Downtown Toronto is a separate beast. They still have demand, but even there, the dynamic has changed. Instead of 15 offers, that property might give you 2 or 3 offers. The bidding wars are not the blood sport that they once used to be. And just to sum this up, the biggest shift and the greatest opportunity for buyers is in the segments of the market where inventory is highest. While the detached market has cooled, some areas and property types like condos have a clear surplus of inventory. These are the areas where buyers currently hold the most negotiation power. The key is to be strategic. The power you hold as a buyer will vary depending on the property, the neighborhood, but the one thing that's true across the board, the frenzy is gone, the pressure is off, and the opportunity to make a smart, calculated purchase has finally returned. And now, the long-awaited top 5 neighborhoods where buyers are getting some serious deals right now in the Greater Toronto Area for a single-family detached is here. These are the pockets where inventory is stacking up, motivated sellers are making themselves known, price declines are actually opening the door to real opportunity. So here we go. Number 5, Meadowvale Village, Mississauga, a great family community near highways, green space, and some solid schools. But higher borrowing costs have softened move-up buyers. And translation, homes are sitting longer and sellers more willing to negotiate. Number 4, Bram West, Brampton. With Stellantis hitting pause on the auto plant, job uncertainty is putting pressure on pricing. We're already seeing listings adjust faster, and you can safely expect more bargains to surface as sellers get realistic about the new market. Number 3, Malton, Mississauga. A lot of people don't know where this location is, but I actually grew up here. It's a gateway community for many newcomers, close to Pearson Airport. But with immigration slowing and investor demand cooling, prices have dropped noticeably here. This is a pocket where you can find many duplex options. Being legal, that's another story. Number 2, Aurora Heights. North of the city, family-friendly, great schools, but that higher-end suburban market is where the slowdown is hitting the hardest. Homes are sitting, sellers are sweating, and buyers looking for detached space are finding some real flexibility here. And number 1, taking the top spot, Cabbagetown, Toronto. High character, high demand downtown neighborhood, but single family homes here have seen one of the steepest composite price declines in the Greater Toronto area. Big price tags plus cautious buyers equals leverage. If you've ever dreamed of an older home with vintage character near the core but thought it was out of reach, it might be your moment. So that's the picture. The data from the Toronto Real Estate Board is undeniable, with average prices down 7.2%, sales down by 9.5%, and inventory building up. The power has officially shifted from sellers to buyers. And as for seller dominance, for now, that chapter is closed. I think that's fair to say. You have choice, you have time, and you have negotiating leverage that we haven't seen in a very long time. And remember, economic confidence will return, and the buyer demand that's been waiting on the sidelines will jump back in. We'll be watching closely to see how the market shapes up as we move through the months. Thank you so much for watching this, and if you have any real estate questions in the Greater Toronto area, we would love to hear from you. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.